Okay. Welcome. Welcome once again to Meatballcraft's Dimensional Ascension Dude Edition. I sure hope we're not about to be jumped by knife-wielding penguins. Shoutouts to anyone who gets that reference. So, we actually have a list of to-do things today. And I have a bit of a confession to make. So first of all, we're renovating the base again because we need more room. We need more room because we'll be adding several multi-blocks very soon, such as the coke oven that we couldn't make before now, but now that we have access to the extended crafting tables, we can make it, which means we can start gaining creosote, which lets us get treated wood, and treated wood is, as I already explained, one of the substances we need to get into immersive engineering. We need immersive engineering for a lot of reasons. However, so I'm renovating the base, but there's other things we can do. And I have a short list of things that we're going to do. One, I think I'd like to try and get into Blood Alchemy today. A little bit. We're going to get started. We're going to try and see if we can get a sentient sword. Today is a good day to die. Already the fun has started. I was intending to get to my room, by the way, but I haven't managed to get around to repairing this. This fireplace may be non-operable. I tried to build it with some memory in mind of how far away lit blocks have to be to not catch wood on fire, but there still might be too much wood too close. Like this might burn the room down if I set the fireplace there. I'll figure something out. Anyway. Before we get started, the password for today: guns sanctified in blood, blood sanctified in guns. Shoutouts to Wasteland, specifically Wasteland 2, or was that Wasteland 3? I don't remember. Shoutouts to Wasteland, the cold one. Anyway, Divine RPG and Advent of Ascension adds a lot of crazy stuff, and that includes guns. Now I knew this, but what I didn't realize is that we actually could have made these a while ago and we didn't. Now, I think what we're going to do, in addition to trying to get into some Blood Alchemy and get a sentient sword, to maybe sort of temporarily replace the steel broadsword that we made, it's okay, but it's not that great. We're also going to make some guns, because we can. Because, I mean, it's guns. Why wouldn't we? So, to make a gun, right, let's look at this. This Stampede, it does 12 bullet damage, right? Ammunition is bullets, Advent of Ascension. If we click on it, how do we make it? Also, by the way, I should point out, these things can be enchanted, which I think is pretty baller. They can take Unbreaking, Mending, Curse of Vanishing, XP Boost, Auto Smelt, whatever's mined, Tombstone Soulbound. Shimmer Brace converts the weapon into an offhand variant, allows firing while in the offhand. That's pretty cool. Intervention prevents the user from losing the item in their inventory when dying. Chance to lose the enchantment on activation. So it's a crappier version of Tombstone Soulbound. Control reduces recoil on guns. Shell increases damage dealt by guns. Anyway, to make one of these guns, we need an infusion table. Okay, and we use a gun frame and then gunpowder, leather, iron ingot, and a limonite bullet to make the Stampede. To make the infusion table, we need 3 of any wool. We need any kind of infusion stone, which is dropped by Pixians. And we need ancient rock. Or, excuse me, 2 ancient rock and 3 obsidian. I thought this was 5 ancient rock, but that's fine. We have obsidian. Anyway, while I do that, I have limonite. I didn't know what this was for. It is from Advent of Ascension. Apparently the answer to what this ore is used for is bullets. It's used to shoot people with. So we're going to go ahead and start smelting some of this up. Now, when we go downstairs, you're going to see some changes. This is just me doing a palette selection. I've just placed these down because these are these are glowstone, but you can change. What the chisel mod does is it adds this chisel. These chisels that you can use, and what they do is you can change the texture of things. I don't know I think most people probably know this, but you can, like, there's a vanilla texture, then there's cracked glowstone, weathered bricks, cracked bricks, wide bricks, encased, braid, arrayed bricks, big tile, neon panel, neon. There's bismuth, bismuth tiles, and then bismuth, or bismuth tile, and then bismuth tiles, plural. Prism, twisted, you get the idea. And what it does is it lets you add variety to your builds. Like, this is just spruce wood planks on the floor, but I've chiseled them so they have the braid pattern. Likewise, the floor is primarily silverwood, but this part of the floor is made of normal vanilla planked wood. Whereas this rim that follows the floor is braided, right? Just to give it a little bit of accent, a little bit of diversity in how it looks. But also, I'm expanding this. This is going to be where the magic stuff goes. And also, you'll notice a rather significant change, which is these buildings now go down instead of straight. I dropped the ceiling down and I dropped the floor down. The reason I had to do this is because if I had kept these as straight tunnels, when I built in that direction and in that direction, I didn't conceptualize it enough in my head, but we're actually so close to the surface, like this is surface level right here. We're so close to the surface. If I did that, the top of the rooms would be poking through the ground and would be visible on the surface, and I didn't want that to be a thing. So I dropped these down. These are stairs down now instead of corridors. Now, this is not the final form of the Tinker's Smeltery. This is improvised, but I just wanted to show you this. So, and this is seared glass, by the way. You can use this as well. You don't have to use the bricks. The bottom of it always has to be made of bricks, but you can make the walls out of glass if you want to see inside of it, which looks pretty cool. In my personal opinion, it looks good. So, this setup is, I have a barrel, or a crate, that feeds into a wooden hopper that feeds directly into the smeltery controller. This can place things in the smeltery automatically. I then have a redstone clock from Cyclic set up, okay? And you can change what a redstone clock does is it ticks, right? As clocks do. Excuse me. And these numbers, it looks complicated, but all this really is it changes the duration and the delay of the ticks. And you can change what facings emit the redstone signal and what don't. The only thing I've really changed is that by default it is always on, which means it's always running. You don't have to do anything to it. I change it to requires redstone because that way I can turn it off with a lever. So I can make it stop working on demand. And then what you can do is, because the faucets do respect redstone, they can be turned on with redstone pulses. I simply do this, and then it can auto-extract. And while we are waiting for this, while we're talking, we're going to let the limonite smelt. And 32 should melt up into a 64 stack of limonite, which should be plenty of bullets for our purposes. I think that'll be good. Also, I'll show you what we'll be shooting in a moment. We actually have access to some bosses now, if we go up under quests. Now, I accidentally made a mistake. I was preparing the stuff necessary to make the advanced crafting table. And I knew for a fact, by the way, that the way extended crafting works... my voice is getting a little strained today. I don't know why. I'm sorry. You need 2 of the previous crafting table to make the next one. So to make a gold crafting table at tier 2, you need 2 of the iron ones, which sucks. And to make the next one, to make the diamond one, the cyan colored one that's made of diamonds, you need 2 of the gold ones, right? So what I did was I got the stuff together to make 3 of the gold ones, because we're going to need 1 to craft anything on it that needs a tier 2 specifically. But we're also going to need 2 more for the future to make the next tier up. So that's what these are. I intended originally to not make them, just have the parts, and I was going to make them on screen, but I was really tired and I kind of forgot about it, and I made them by accident without thinking. So that actually advanced the quest 2 steps, because we completed it, which opened up these things. And then, because I've already found glowstone, obviously, it also completed this step as well, which opens up these quests. Now, we actually have access to 2 bosses. One back here, Mossy Grave Dust, and then one over here, Unusually Heavy Bone. Now, the Unusually Heavy Bone, we're not going to be making. This requires the Tier 2 Advanced Crafting. We need Eden Dust, and we also need 5 blocks of dragon bones, which are made by compressing 9 dragon bones together. And we need 5 of them to make this, and that's 1. And this is a token that lets you summon a boss, right? It's just like, I assume it works exactly how it does in Terraria, right? So we click it, and the thing is consumed, and then we can fight it. That's very expensive. We're not going to be making that. We would have to kill quite a few dragons to get that many bones. However, the Mossy Grave Dust we can make. So, Ball of Moss is from Tinker's Construct. You right-click it with a bookshelf to convert it into Mending Moss. And Mending Moss is a modifier item from Tinker's. You can put it on any Tinker's tool or weapon, and it gives it mending, right? So, 9 mossy cobblestone, or any mossy block, in a bunch creates a ball of moss. You turn it into Mending Moss by right-clicking on a bookshelf, and it consumes 10 of your levels. However, Content Tweaker, Mossy Grave Dust is a boss lure. Right-click for your first boss fight. 8 balls of moss surrounding Graves Dust from Coriel Tombstone creates Mossy Grave Dust. So, I thought what we could do is we could make some guns. We could maybe try and make a sentient sword as well. And then we pick a fight with whatever this summons, because that's what the vines are. Because you can create mossy cobblestone by combining. There's the limonite, by the way. Let me go ahead and start extracting this. You see how this starts working? It goes on a tick. It'll tick up, and then there it goes. Boop, and then these two wooden hoppers will pull and push everything into that small storage crate. I've been growing this moss so that we can make, I've been growing these vines so we can make mossy cobble, so that we could make it. And I think we may have enough for one more lure if I go ahead and trim the excess that we have. I've been doing it in the background. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to go upstairs. We're going to try and make some guns. I'll show you where I got the stone, by the way, because that's not intuitive at all. In fact, I'm not even sure if I found it the correct way or not. And then we will maybe summon a boss and fight it. I don't know if we'll try and get the sentient sword first. Probably we'll fight the boss first, I think. Just to have some fun with it, we'll fight the boss first. I'm not terribly intimidated by it. Technically, we could have fought it a while ago. Wow, this one really climbed for the stars, didn't he? Also, we can't make the Tinker's Armor. I didn't realize this. I figured it out when I was looking into what would be needed to make it. I've made much ado about crafting Tinker's Armor later. As it turns out, that's enforced, and I don't have a choice. I'll show you why in just a second. But okay, I haven't moved these things yet, which is why they're in the ceiling like this. As you can see, I've got 35 balls of moss so far, so we've made some progress, and I've got 5 mossy stone. Let's go ahead and yeah, you know what, we'll go ahead and take it all. I think this is the correct. Yeah. Okay, so 1 and then 2. Cobblestone, vines equals mossy stone, and then cobblestone and vines equals that, and then the rest of the cobblestone I can throw out, and then it goes right back in the dank. Okay, so let's see how much more moss this makes us. There is a reason, by the way, we're fighting the bosses, not just because it's fun, not just because we're there. They're there, but there is a purpose behind it. And I'll show you what that is in a moment, too. Right, I was putting this in here, wasn't I? Because this is where the vines are. Okay. So, and where is our grave dust? I know we have some. Or have I already taken it out? No, it's right here. We'll start with 4. And if we feel like making more, we will. We'll see what he drops. So, part of this quest tells us Divine Shikaxe. Now, I should mention in modded Minecraft, this is kind of a recurring joke. Obviously, the pickaxe digs stone, the shovel digs soft stuff, and the axe can break wood, right? There are many mods that will add a tool that is a hybrid of all of these tools, right? The Paxels being one of the most infamous. The Divine Shikaxe appears to be a Divine RPG version of this. So this quest is essentially saying some items have special recipes for powerful enchantments. Search for super enchanted in JEI so we can find things that do that. The Divine Shikaxe is one of them. So if we take a Divine Shovel, a Divine Axe, and a Divine Pickaxe and combine them together, we get the Divine Shikaxe, which has an efficiency of 20, a harvest level of 7, and it has infinite uses, so it has infinite durability. It does 12 attack damage if we bonk somebody with it, and it can be super enchanted. Okay, and to super enchant it, we would take 4 pyrite dust, and then we would surround it with each of these Abyssal Elder God coins, a Shub-Niggurath engraved coin, a Cthulhu engraved coin, an Elder engraved coin, Jahazar, Hastir, Azathoth, Nyarthalep, and Yogg-Sothoth. And that gives it, that turns it from the Divine Shikaxe into the Dire Pick, which has efficiency 20. And it can still be enchanted on top of that. So that gives it efficiency XX, which is nutty. I assume at that point it just disintegrates anything you swing it at. However, the point is, to make the Divine Shikaxe, you need the Divine Shovel, the Pickaxe, and the Axe. To make these, you make them out of any sticks and Divine Stones. Well, what are Divine Stones? They're made from 9 Divine Shards. Divine Shards are dropped by many Overworld and Nether bosses, such as the Nethogenic Wither, the Epiphenite. Yeah, we'll go with that. The Aurako Red, the Aurako Yellow, the Aurako Blue, the Ancient Entity. Well, that thing's enormous. It doesn't even fully fit in the thing. Jeez. The Watcher, which is very clearly a beholder. Drops 100 netherite ingots. Holy crap. The Aurako Green and the Aurako Purple. I don't know if we can fight any of these bosses. Maybe one of them is what's summoned by the unusually heavy bone. I wouldn't know. But we can definitely fight these guys and whatever this summons and see if what it drops. We also, in the Nether, we're being told that you can build a destruction catalyst to mine. Alchemical energy provided by fuels such as coal and redstone can also be converted into explosive power. This catalyst should make mining very easy. I'll make one of those eventually. Void base for the win. If I were you, I'd hold off on large automation until you unlock the Void World. Sorting systems are going to be easier to set up and it'll be less laggy. Well, thank you. I'll accept that. Compact is better. There are a lot of multi-blocks. Unfortunately, they cause a fair amount of TPS lag. Using compact machines is recommended. Thank you for telling me. And then there is mana, question mark, exclamation, question mark. Time to check out the Book of Creation tab. It seems like this universal war for resources is also taking place underground. The nether region of Terra possesses pure mana in the form of a metal. Mana appears to be a pivotal material to enable more powerful means of magic, which is why it's so closely guarded. We can found in the elemental chamber in the nether. I think I may have found that. We'll go check that out in a moment. There's also these things, the empowerers. These provide alternate means of storing energy, allow me to empower things, which is useful for manufacturing. This is actually addition stuff. There's the Divine Shikaxe. There's the unusually heavy bone. Then there's, this may be a little evil. More info about Woot is found on the Book of Creation. At this point, I have no doubt I'm being manipulated in some way. The same thing that keeps me alive is driving me towards the making of Stygian iron, which allows me to magically manipulate souls. I know this power is wrong, but I can't help it. I have to figure out what's going on with me. And essentially what the Stygian Anvil does is it's the beginning of Woot, and what Woot does is it helps you manipulate mob souls and mob drops to create other things. So it's like crafting mob stuff into other mob stuff. You can right click it with a die or an ender shard, place it on the anvil, drop the other ingredients on the anvil, hit it with the yaw hammer, right? The Stygian iron, it can be made in the compressor, which I don't think is what we'll be doing to start with. I think they want us to do this, which is we use a tier 2 crafting table to craft a bunch of stuff together to make the 6 Stygian iron ingots. We're going to need rosite, which we have, limonite, which we have. We're going to need torn cloth, chitin, and molten shards, which we have. We're going to need blaze quartz, which I believe we can make. Yes, it's nether quartz surrounded by blaze powder. We can absolutely make that. The problem is going to be... Oh, and we can also make the experienced spider eye. It's just we make essence in a mob crusher, and then we infuse essence into a fermented spider eye. The problem is we'll need to make a mob crusher, too, to get essence. But again, like, we'll deal with it. That's for later. The problems are purple blaze, scorcher spawn eggs are craftable, and this cursed organic matter by Content Tweaker. So purple blazes, I don't know where these guys are, and I don't know how to find them. It says biome any, light level any, experience drop 20, scorcher. I've never seen these guys. I don't know where they are. It doesn't say anything about it. It says scorcher eggs are craftable, but I'll tell you this for free, that's a lie. Because if we go Scorcher, Scorcher, we can find Scorcher eggs, spawn Scorcher. They're craftable using blaze rods and an electrum singularity from extended crafting, which is made by making a quantum compressor, which we can't build, and making an ultimate catalyst, which we can't build, and then using it to compress 5,056 electrum ingots into an electrum singularity, and that nets us 1 spawn scorcher. And I'll tell you this for free, no. Like, there's got to be another way to do that. So I don't know how to get involved in this just yet. Also, the cursed organic matter is pretty rude too. We need crab claws, ice crystals, armor plating, void scales, eye of the storm, which is a charged creeper drop, whale fins, we got to go kill whales, which I feel sad about. The Gorgon heads, which we have one of those. A Cyclops eye, and then we got to go fight Shoggoths. It's made from Shoggoth flesh, which is pretty rude. Anyway, moving on. Let's get out of here. Oh, and one more thing. Let me just show you this as a demonstration. You can, once you already have a... why on earth is that not working? There we go. Once you have a functional smelter, you don't have to worry about making grout anymore if you want to expand it, because you can make the scorched stone by just melting any vanilla like cobblestone, right? I can fill this smeltery with cobblestone, and then I can put like more of it in here, and this will automatically run through. And as you can see, I've already made tons of seared bricks this way, just automatically extracting like this, and it'll make me some more, right? And this is also, these are the materials that were left over from making all those crafting tables over there. But let's go outside and let's make some guns, shall we? Although we should probably grab that limonite. That is why I did this whole thing, is for that. Give me that. Thank you. Okay. Let's make some limonite. Or let's make some guns. And we'll see what kind of damage we can do. Oh, and this is a preliminary glimpse of what the magic area is going to look like, which I think is quite nice. I quite like what I'm doing here, especially with the ceiling and the lights. I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks all right. And this area down here, by the way, that is underneath the center area and is going to connect to each of the 4 industrial zones. This, I think, is where I'm going to put the storage. That's going to be where the storage drawers are, and where all the barrels and storage and everything and tanks are, the cold fluids. So I think putting that in a central location is smart. So anyway, oh, that's right, I remember now. I was going to show you, while we still have time, we should go. We should go do it. It is, let me see. I don't remember what color it is, so I have to actually read these. I apologize. Dimensional Walker Merchant, that's him. Okay, so at the beginning of this pack, they told us that the Pixions, those little tinkling lights on the ground, can be harvested with a bowl. I tried clicking on them with a vanilla Minecraft bowl, and that doesn't work. Okay, that's because they don't want you to use that kind of bowl. They want you to use these from Advent of Ascension, the Diamond Bowl and the Stone Bowl, used to siphon resources from stray Pixions. So, to make this the Stone Bowl, you need 7 ancient rock and a gold ingot. Ancient rock, build a full portal frame, 5x6, including the 5 carved runes to make the ancient teleporter. We actually have some of those carved runes. Found in the overworld. And then a gold ingot. I never found ancient rock no matter where I went. Okay, it's not underground, or if it is, it's very rare and I haven't found it. But I was like, the diamond bowl is the same thing, and it's made from diamonds and gold. And I was like, well, that's more of a renewable resource for me than whatever this exotic substance is. So I made a diamond bowl. Except it turns out that's not good enough, because the diamond bowl is a better quality tool than the stone bowl, and you can't use the diamond bowl to start with. You need to level up that skill first. These dudes, the Realm Shifters, this guy who looks like Iron Man if he was in Tron, these guys sell ancient rock for the copper coins. Okay, I found this guy, and he's the guy who sells it. He also sells a whole stack of it for 1 silver, right? So, and let me go home before ghosts or something show up and murder everyone in that house, because I don't want that to happen. But that's where the stone is, just in case you're curious, because you need it to craft several things from Advent of Ascension. I couldn't find it anywhere. It's from him. Okay, I think he might be the only source of it. I've not seen it elsewhere. But that is why there's these 2 bowls in my bag, the diamond bowl and the stone bowl. And since I don't know what level my thing has to be at to get to the diamond, every time I use it, I just repair the stone bowl with the magma anvil from Cyclic. I just regenerate its durability so I can keep using it. So that way I'm not wasting that stone. But it seems as though we are going to need a little bit of obsidian. I thought it was 1, 2, 3. Okay. I've also gone ahead and been a little bit cheeky. I'm growing wood out here to fuel my construction projects underground, as you can clearly see. I've been a bit cheeky, and I made a bit of a firing range. So, I also, as in proper game show host fashion, I went ahead and I took all of the relevant resources out and put them in here. It looks like this rock is not necessary, and that is actually how you craft it. This is all the gunpowder I have, which is nice. We can make guns out of it. 2 rosite, 64 iron ingots, void scales, leather, scrap metal, iron, a sapphire, 3 wood, and a TNT. This is what's necessary to make almost all the guns I have access to. I unfortunately cannot make the Tommy gun. I wanted to, but to make it we need Urka hide. And I have looked in Taiga Hills, Mega Taiga Hills, Boreal Forest, Maple Woods, Twilight Highlands. I've been to a lot of these biomes. I could not find one of these guys. I couldn't. I apologize, but you need one of his leather to make the Tommy gun. We can't make it until we find one and kill him. But we can make all the rest. I also, because of the way Advent of Ascension works, I think, let me go ahead and actually make the table while I'm talking, so we're not wasting time. I think the creation of these things using infusion costs like energy. It costs a resource. There's the infusion table. So I don't know if we'll be able to make all of the guns or not. We might only be able to make 1 or 2, and then I'll run out of the resource. By the way, there's a target dummy down here. All this guy does is if you slap him, he'll show you damage numbers. 6.24 damage, just like that. This frame bench is also necessary. Frame bench. And this is just a workbench, a vanilla workbench, with an iron axe and shears. That's all it is. Just so you're curious as to how you make that. That is how you make it. So let's go ahead and make some of these things. So first of all, assuming we can't make all of them, I want to make the best one, which is the bolt action rifle, I think. This one does an outrageous amount of damage. The Stampede is 12 damage a shot. It's the revolver. The Tommy is six bullets, 6 damage per bullet. The Brown Blaster is a shotgun. It's 6 times 3. The Duster is 21. The Deadlock is 25.5. Deals more damage to enemies that are moving fast. And the Bolt Action Rifle deals 30. So we're going to try and make the Bolt Action. This is 2 wood. Well, actually, first of all, let's make a sniper frame. To do this, I think we need scrap. And we're going to make a sniper frame. Okay. And by the way, the scrap metal, I've been finding it as I mine. It is one of the things you get from leveling up your skill for mining. When I break blocks now, there's a chance they just drop bottles of enchanting and scrap metal and ender eyes and gunpowder, which is why I have so many bottles of enchanting, so many scrap metals, so many eyes of ender. That's where they're coming from. So if we put this in here, oh, we need to put it all in at the same time. Okay, so the bolt rifle is 2 wood, 3 iron, the sapphire, and a gunpowder. Okay. 2 wood, 3 iron, sapphire, gunpowder. Guns sanctified in blood. Blood sanctified in guns. If you crouch, you can scope in. Crouching lets you scope in. Oh, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. Okay. Now, I don't know if that cost us... Okay, the frame is gone. Interesting. So it costs you the frame to make. The RPG is pretty expensive. We'll make one, but the problem is it costs grenades as ammo, and those are kind of expensive to make. They're a little bit pricey. So I don't know if we'll use the RPG much for now, anyway. But it does a tremendous amount of damage. 14 damage per shot. Heavy explosive damage does more damage to armored targets. I think we'll also make the Stampede and the Brown Blaster, so we have a revolver, a shotgun, and a sniper rifle. Let's make the revolver next, because revolvers are cool. Now to make this, we're going to need a limonite bullet, which is made from gunpowder and limonite, and it makes 16 of them. And this is the ammo, by the way. So we'll take that, and we'll take that. And we'll just do 1 round for starters. I don't want to go too hard on this just yet. All of this is intended to be used for guns, but some of the guns also require limonite to craft. Take 1 of the leather. Take 1 of the iron and 1 of the gunpowder. Take 1 of the iron. Okay, and then we're going to need a bit more scrap because we're going to have to make a gun frame. And you can also make armor doing this, by the way, too. But most of the armors that are available to us are not great right now. A lot of them, we need, I think, boss materials and stuff from exotic enemies to do it. So we can just auto-move everything in. And there's our Stampede. Reach for the sky. Reach for the sky! It doesn't look like this is costing energy to craft. I guess the infusion only counts if you're using it to, like, infuse enchant things. The gun crafting appears to be free. So let's make the shotgun as our final craft, and then we'll stop for now. Now we need spread shot for this, which is 3 limonite bullets, and we essentially make 3 bullets around a bullet. Is how this works. So it's 1, 2, 3. we go. I got that backwards. Okay. Then I think we need the shotgun frame for this. Right. And another leather and then another iron. Okay. Leather. Iron. And there we go. Now, let's check a damage check real quick. Okay, this is all very well and good. By the way, they fire different ammo. The Brown Blaster fires these spread shots, the shotgun shells. The Stampede fires bullets, which means limonite bullets. However, the Bolt Rifle fires metal slugs and slugs. This is an iron limonite bullet and a gunpowder. Okay. Since this is the highest DPS we currently have access to right now, I would like to shoot this and compare it to the... well, actually, we'll fire all of them is what we'll do. But let's do a comparison. Okay, so this is the biggest attack I've had so far is the Ice Shard. Let's see what it does to the dummy. 30. That's a flat 30, which is about what I expected. Okay. Now then. I kind of want to wait for that freeze effect to go away, but I don't know how long that'll take. Let's just shoot him. Is that 7.5 or 75? I can't tell. Interesting. Apparently, you need to scope in because hip firing does not work. That's 7.5. I think that's less damage than the wand. That appears to be less damage than the wand. The Brown Blaster, I don't know if we can hit from here, but we'll try. No, not even close. Sort of. Okay, interesting. Shotguns, or at least this shotgun, kind of sucks. Not gonna lie. And where is my reach for the sky? Okay. Interesting. They are not as cool as I thought they would be. I mean, they're cool, but the wand does an outrageous amount of damage. It's hard to it's hard to diss the wand. We might stick with the wand for now, but it is cool to know that we can make guns. What I'd like to do is we can make steampunk firearms in immersive engineering. I'd like to do a damage test and see how well they hold up. We can make, using this, 2 wooden grips, an iron ingot, a revolver hammer, a revolver barrel, and an iron ingot allows us to make the revolver. Go ahead, make my day. It is an 8-cylinder revolver. And the revolver itself is a component to make the gun turrets from immersive engineering, which is exactly what it sounds like. You can make speed loaders for this because normally the revolver, you're kind of forced to reload it 1 bullet at a time. It's like a Navy revolver. You have to do it that way. Speed loader lets you quickly reload the whole thing. There's also mods you can apply to the guns in immersive engineering. The bayonet adds melee damage to the revolver. The extended magazine increases its size. The amplified electron tubes, revolver shots inflict shock damage. These do change, by the way, what your gun looks like. It's very Bioshock 1 in that regard. Like, putting the extendo magazine on the revolver does give it like a double cylinders jutting out the side of it. If you put the electron tubes on it, it does have electron tubes sticking out the side of it, right? Like, that is a thing. The revolver's okay, but what's really great is there's a railgun in here. And I think the railgun, I'm not sure where it is. Where are you? Is it down in here? There is a railgun. Here it is. It uses energy to fire. It takes 2 revolver barrels, a wooden grip, 2 high voltage capacitors, and 2 electrum coil blocks to make it. This thing slaps. This thing will knock the teeth out of a donkey. This thing will stop a train in its tracks if you shoot it. A railgun is kind of strong, so I'm looking forward to making the revolver and the railgun from Immersive Engineering, and we'll see how they play. But we've got some exploring to do, and we've got some stuff to look at in the Nether to see if we can find that mana steel. But before we go, let's fight some bosses. Now, we're not doing it anywhere near our base. I'll tell you that for sure, because I don't know how these dudes play. So what we're gonna do is where can we go? Let's go to the farm. Is what we'll do. This is the old base that I've marked out as the farm. Rest in peace, guys who died. You will be missed. Let's go like way out into the field. And let's try it there. I'm a moron. I'm the biggest idiot in the world. I put the lures in the box and I didn't bring them with me. Ba-da-ba-ba-da. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's put everything we aren't going to use immediately in our box real fast. And let's see what's behind door number 1. Let me eat first to put some saturation on my bar. Just eat a whole chicken. Let's see what's behind. Or wait, let's make this properly cinematic. Let's remove all of these ugly icons off. There we go. Now the skies are blue. The skies are gray. Feels like a good time to die today. Hello? Sludge Lord. You are hideous. Look at that dude. He's got 400 health. Did it immediately become night when I summoned him? I think it did. Sentient meatball. Silky sludge. Okay. Well. You can't defeat me with the power of God and anime on my side. Get out of here. This dude is substantially more of a pushover than I thought. The magic is just kind of strong. Let's just admit it. The magic's a bit tough. Alright, and can we do it again? Yeah, we can do it again. He doesn't even get to play the game. He doesn't even get to attack. The ice just stun locks him. That's crazy. Let's let's head back real fast, because I don't want to stand out in the middle of the field and look at what we've got. So, because he's an undead, we got some grave dust. Okay. We got some mossy sticks. I don't know what they do. I've looked this up before, but I can't tell what they do besides just... In fact, let me do this. This is Fish's Undead Rising. Okay. this just needs normal sticks. Memory of 1,000 armies. I don't even know what you have to do for that. Scarecrow heads. Like, is there anything in particular that actually... requires... A king does not need his body as long as the soul is imbued in his crown. Even a dead corpse can fulfill his ambitions. That's pretty spooky. Okay, the spectral dagger is made with a mossy stick. The frozen dagger regenerates durability in water. Some of these items seem to require the stick specifically. The sentient meatball, though. Ghost spawn eggs are craftable. The sentient meatball and the silky sludge. What is the silky sludge used to do? It's used as a side grade to slime? Huh. Okay. Not sure what specifically, if it does anything special. The sentient meatball. What are you? So, 4 gold coins, 4 cosmic meatballs, and a sentient meatball is used to make digital organic currency. Who can trade this? Well, find the compressed cobblestone in the overworld. I've already done this. If you find the compressed cobblestone and push the button, it causes a trader to appear, and he only accepts this as his currency. But that's pretty expensive. Like cosmic meatballs, gold coins. Is that it? Is that all this does? A machine blueprint meteoric befaller can turn 50 or 50 or can turn a sentient meatball into an arbiter fragment. Reusable in recipes doing moon turf. Okay. Well, I don't know what any of that stuff does. I don't know what most of this stuff is used for then. All right then. Ba-da-ba-ba-da. All right. So, with that in mind, let's go to the Nether then, I guess, is what we'll do. Because that's a reasonable thing that reasonable people do, right? When in doubt, go to hell. That's definitely a normal activity for normal people such as myself. First of all, let's recharge that wand. This wand is remaining the nuttiest thing we've crafted so far in terms of damage. The thing that we've gone for. Definitely, it's been worth it so far. I was kind of hoping, since he's a boss, he would drop those fragments. I was hoping I could farm him and make that stuff. Maybe you have to do the dragon bone stuff to do that. But if that's the case, we would have to fight dragons. Like, are we already supposed to be that tough? I don't know. Oh, speaking of toughness, the Tinker's Armor. I was going to show you why we can't make it yet. Hang on, let me recharge the wand and I'll show you. So, I thought the Abyssal Knight was the hard part. It's not. Well, it's hard, but it's not the part that's gating us specifically. Okay, so to make armor in Tinkers, you need 3 parts. Okay, you need the core, the plating, and the trim. And you can kind of see this, I think. If you do... Well, hang on, maybe it's... Let's try this. There we go. The armor forge is made from the armor station. We would have to make that specifically. But anyway, you need 3 parts. Just take my word for it. You need 3 parts to make armor. You need the trim. You need the plating. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. You need the core, the plates, and the trim. Okay, to make them. Now, how does one make core? The cores, the plates, and the trims. Well, the cores are made from abyssal, right? Watch this. I almost clicked off the window, and that would have shut everything off. That would have sucked. I gotta stop playing with that. But if we do core, right, we can see that these patterns require the abyssal. Okay. Trim. Okay. This requires steel leaf from the Twilight Forest, which is a dimension we have not been to yet. The plates are signalum plates, which we could theoretically make, but it would be very expensive to do so. So we have to go to the Twilight Forest before we can make tinkers, is the point. Because we need 3 steel leaf to make the trim. So we can't do this. So we're stuck with normal enchantable stuff for now. So, with that in mind, let's go to hell. Let's go check out the Nether. I think I have found what they're talking about. I think I have found. I've seen some weird looking structures that I definitely don't recognize in the distance. We're gonna go check them out. Maybe one of them is the thing that has the thing we're looking for. If not, I don't know. I guess I'll explore the Nether until we find it. It's got to be around here somewhere. Ouch. I don't know why you're mad at me, but I'm just going to leave, okay? Excuse me. By the way, when I look at the this blue fire, it says blue fire jar from Biomes of Plenty. I think there might be a way to pick this fire up and use it as a decoration. If so, I'm going to figure it out because it looks pretty cool. Anyway, I don't have many markers in this dimension, but as you can tell, mushroom forest, we found that. And then there's stuff over here, right? And that's the marker that I made because, hey, there's stuff over here. I'm sorry, excuse you. Why are all the pigmen after me? Oh, you're a Pigotron in disguise. That's why. Interesting. So was that other guy a Pigotron? I was wondering why I was getting jumped by pigmen when I hadn't done anything to aggravate them. Let's get rid of that flame walker before he walks and flames. You know, as flame walkers do. Are you also a Pigotron? I bet you are. Fortunately, killing them doesn't seem to aggravate the other zombie pigman. That is a gigantic spider. Look at the size of that spider. Little bam. Apparently being huge doesn't make you invincible. Anyway, as you may have spotted in the distance, there's a structure near here. There's actually two structures I'd like to check out. One of them is that. I think that might be what we're looking for. I'm not sure. But we're going to find out. I'll tell you what. What is that up there? An M break? Man, there's so much weird stuff in the Nether. These mods have added so many things. Nether tokens. I assume there's a merchant that'll accept these somewhere around here, but I have not seen anyone who's offering trades for Nether tokens. That is a really big spider. That's another really big spider. I don't like how big that spider is. It tried to web me with horrible black webs. I hate it. Barely survived an attempted homicide with my life. Okay. This looks real suspicious to me. Nether bricks. Yeah. Ouch. Excuse you. Was that a blizz? That's an ice creature. Why is there... Listen, Picatron. I'm getting tired of you guys just jumping me like that. It's very rude. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. Infernal hive? Magic bees? There's beehives in hell. I guess here's what we're going to do. There's definitely something. Basalts? What? I'm sorry, what? All the wildlife of the Nether is coming together to fight me right here and right now. I think maybe I need to break into this building. I was trying to figure out a way to go about it, but it appears to be we're on some kind of timer, and you know what? We're just going to go for it, so. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Well, I just dug right through the floor by accident. Wonderful. Ouch. Never thought I'd fight ice enemies in the Nether, but hey. Yeah, that's the stuff. That's the stuff I'm looking for sure. Yeah, that's definitely the stuff. Hang on. I need to eat. I'm dying. Ow! What is... There's... I almost stepped off into the lava. That was dangerous. There's one of them that's just hitting me with some kind of blindness. And it may very well be the worst thing that's happening right now is the blindness. I'm getting withered. Yeah, that. This is getting out of hand. We need to break the spawners. Okay, I think all the spawners are broken. Oh, that's why. They're also up high as well. I'm about to die. I'm going to die. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I didn't realize they were also in the upper corners. That's a little rude. That's more than a little rude, actually. That's extremely rude. Let's return. That's definitely where we need to be. That was a cube of that metal that we're looking for. That was a cube of the blocks of that metal. Oh, hey, there's a scarecrow here. Just lurking. Just being a creep for no reason. Man, I got pummeled by those things. Okay. I hate how the cyclic stuff always tries to prioritize my top slot because it displaces the necklace. It's actually quite upsetting. Mana? Question mark? Exclamation point? Question mark? There's a Baphomator down there. I can hear him. It sounds like they're all fighting each other, though, which I'm all for. Screw everybody outside this room. Screw you guys. I'm going home with my mana metal. Once we mine it all, I'm going to check what we can make with it. Also, I should mention, I was having trouble trying to figure out what heads I should use on my my tools. I didn't realize the advent of Ascension ores that we've been looking at the whole time, the rupee, the realmite, and that stuff. They're actually really, really, really good in Tinkers. The Armalite, which is like one of the most basic like substances, has a mining level of cobalt. It doesn't mine very fast, but it is a mining level of cobalt. So I just gave this pick Armalite. So it now has cobalt tier mining. If you're having trouble with mining tiers and you're not sure... Hello, Baphomator. It's good to see you haven't changed. If you're having trouble with mining tiers and you need some... don't know exactly what to do, how to do it, just use the Divine RPG ores, the Armite, the Rupee, that stuff. It's stupid good for tools. It's real good for tools. Ouch. There. By modifying the coordinates manually, I can teleport up here, which is quite the convenient trick, all things considered. Well, really? After all this, you're going to throw hands with me? Yeah, go ahead. Swim through the lava. Come. Come. No, no. Don't let me hold you up or anything. Let's do this. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, looks like any loot has either been picked up or it despawned. Alright. Or it was destroyed in the ensuing bloodbath. That's also a possibility. I just saw that salamander spawn in. We just watched him spawn in. What is this, like, grass over here? There's, like, grass. That pig. There we go. Ouch. Overgrown netherrack from Biomes of Plenty? Interesting. So is there like a... Oh great, I gotta just wait out the fire. Wonderful. I love slowly burning to death. It's my favorite. Oh nice. You can in fact get... Or wait, no, I'm full again. Sorry, hang on. Where are we? Here. This is the one. I hate how everything gets scrambled every time I die. It's very frustrating. Overgrown netherrack is pretty neat. Of course, we don't get a gas tier out of that. Wow, that's actually kind of cool. There's like a... There's like a nether forest. Biomes of Plenty is so cool. It's such a great mod. Is this like a special kind of tree? Can we take this home with us? Hellbark. It is a special kind of tree, and it's a special kind of vines too. Oh, this is actually pretty cool. This is another nether fortress. There's another nether fortress here. Okay. I don't think we're going to go too nutty here, but I do want to mark this as we'll mark this as overgrown nether forts. Okay. We're not going to explore that now. We'll come back to that later. But I do think I'd like to... There's one thing I'd like to check. When we were at the Nether Fortress... Ouch. Ouch. Please stop. You know what? Just screw it. I'm leaving. Bye. Hope I don't die over the lava. That would suck. That would suck a lot. I hate how long fire lasts sometimes. It just lasts forever and it doesn't stop. Okay. There was a weird structure. Like, a weird structure. And I'd like to check it out before we go back and look on this mana medal and see how to progress. Didn't mean to transition sides. Oh, that clenched. I clenched real hard. My butt clenched for that one. That. I don't know what that is. Whoa! Son of a... We have got, now that we have a bit of a library set up where we've got an enchanting table of our own down there, we have got, because it says, I did a little bit of minor research on this. It says you've been killed by blaze magic. I need armor that resists magic. I need magic resistant armor. Electro Blobs has an enchantment that can do it, that gives you magic resistance. It's universal magic resist. I definitely want, because I get the feeling, I get the uncomfortable feeling we're going to have to fight dragons pretty soon. I think we're coming up on that, where the pack is going to start expecting us to use guns or something to fight dragons with. Guns or magic to fight dragons. Gun magic, magic guns. And in that event, I have a sneaking suspicion that we're gonna need it, right? We will need to have fire and magic resist, and I do get tired of being one shot by blazes and baphometers. And some wizards, some hostile wizards can one-shot me too. It's definitely the common theme is magic. Magic just hits like a wrecking ball. I mean, I'm one-shotting things with my wand, so at least it's fair, it's consistent both ways, but I still need protection against it. This, I don't know what this is. No clue what that is. Let's find out. Let's get an answer to that question. And of course, once again, all of our stuff has been screwed up. That's not the correct one. That's full of trash that I'm going to have to clean out at some point. That's empty. Cyclic has once again pushed my thing out of its proper slot, which once again infuriates me. Are you it? No, you're it. Whatever, I don't even care about the organization anymore. Just get it so it's not all clustered together. There we go. This, don't know what that is. Let's find out. It almost looks like... I'm not sure what it looks like. There's no obvious entrances on it, but it's clearly a structure. Hello, spiders. Ah! That was a bit of a jump scare. Hive block? Oh, I don't like that sound. Oh no, look at the mini-map. Look at the mini-map in the corner. Look at the writhing red dots. Oh, this is terrible. Hive block. Oh, that's awful. Of course there would be wasps in hell. Why wouldn't there be? Alright, well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. It says that the correct tool to use to break this block is an axe. So let's smash a hole in a giant insect hive in hell, because what could possibly go wrong? Added by Biomes of Plenty. Honeycomb block. It's bees. Nether wasps. There's honey blocks in there and some kind of spawner. I'm sorry, how is there water in the Nether? I'm going to drown. Oh, it's used as a crafting material. Advent of Ascension is using it as a crafting material for the bone armor. I guess we'll mark this. We'll remember that it's here. I'm still not entirely sure how there's water. Or is this honey? I'm sorry, give me a bucket real fast. I need to know. Because water shouldn't exist in the Nether. What are you? It's honey. It's straight up honey. Can I drink it? No, I can't. Huh. Ah, but if I try and place it in the Nether is like, nah, you're not allowed to place fluids in the Nether. So the Nether remembers. So I guess because this structure is generated like this, there's been like no block update. Interesting. So hang on. Honey? Biomes of Plenty. Okay, so it can be used as I can transport it around as a fluid, but what is it actually? Yeah, I can put it in things, but what does it do? What is the purpose of it? I'll have to look up Biomes of Plenty and see. Ah, honey jar. I bet you this is it. Or wait, how do I make the honey in a jar, though? Like what? Yeah, this may require some research. I'm not quite sure what we do with this. What the liquid honey from Biomes of Plenty can be used to do. I don't quite understand the purpose of it. It can be moved around as a fluid. I can put it into and out of containers, but I don't see what it's used to do. At the very least, Just Enough Items doesn't recognize what it's used for, or at least it doesn't seem to. Okay. We'll go ahead and mark this as Nether Wasp Hive. There we go. We'll remove that death. And I guess before we dip and go home, let's just, like, I don't know, fly over here while we're here, while we're exploring. Let's just check it out and see. Oh, cool. There's another overgrown biome. Giant mushrooms. Man, the overgrown biome looks so cool. Look at it. It's so neat. Man, biomes aplenty just makes the Nether come alive. What a great mod. That's a Baphomator. I'm gonna die. Fly diagonally. Don't fly in a straight line. Serpentine, 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 serpentine. Let's just dip. Let's go home. Bye. Ouch, 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 ouch. Okay. We've been beat up a bit, but we're triumphant. Sort of. So, we went to the Nether. We got some of this mana, this block of mana-infused metal. What do we use it for? Buzzwords. Gendustry is your friend. More information in the Book of Creation. Dripping Comb and Rocky Comb. Bees are very abundant on Terra, and they seem to be similar to chickens, having the ability to be bound to elements. I should experiment on them. On the medieval vibes, the Book of Creation has instructions on how to use Project E. Mana appears to have a memory for alchemical power, meaning that I can use it to create all remembered items at will. Our tasks are to create a Philosopher's Stone, a Klein Star Ein, a Transmutation Table, an Energy Collector Mark 1, an Antimatter Relay Mark 1, and an Energy Condenser. Okay. But how do we make the Mobius Fuel? I think we make the Mobius Fuel with the Philosopher's Stone. The Transmutation Table is made using a Philosopher's Stone. The Energy Collector, we actually already have a Shadow Gem. The Antimatter Relay, which we'll need another Shadow Gem though. We're going to have to fight somebody else who's a big boy for that. Okay, okay. This is expensive, but it's not too terrible. Alright. That is some stuff that I may work on progressing off screen, because that's going to be a lot of microcrafting. That's going to be a lot of building things. Let's work on, because we've got about an hour left on the recording before I'm going to have to stop. Let's get to work on Blood Alchemy. Let's get some magic up in here. Let's also, just for laughs, give me one of these. And then let's go up. Yeah. Give me some of that. And then give me all of these. Maybe able to guess what we're about to do with Bottles of Enchanting and Lapis. Ouch. Where was I putting the vis crystals? I don't even see them. Doesn't really matter. I'll just hold on to this one instead of putting it away. Let's stay focused. Where is... I think we put all the books and stuff. We moved them to the other place because we were building bookshelves, I think. So let's go through here. So magical wood is from extra utilities too, by the way. And here's what it does. Magical. Boosts max level of enchanting tables by 2.5 levels. Okay. Which means normally you have to surround a enchantment table with, I think, 15 or 16 bookshelves. I believe it's 15 bookshelves. To reach maximum like enchanting tier. You only need 6 magical wood to boost an enchanting table to max, which is quite convenient. Now then, also random things adds the ability to create crafting tables that look like most wood types in it lets you create a crafting table. I'll show you. Yeah, here it is. Random things allows you to craft crafting tables out of any wood planks in the ore dictionary. So if it counts as a wood, you can make a crafting table out of it that steals that texture, right, for wood, if it's considered a wood. So I made a crafting table out of dark oak wood just to match the theme of the room, just so it's in here. But let's go ahead and get some lapis going real quick. Don't mind me. And let's go ahead and get some books. Okay, if I wanted to enchant this, protection, last stand, fire protection, ooh, versus what? Light piercing, leech, smite. Kind of like that fire protection 3. Fire protection 3. Fire protection. Or wait, no, I'm breaking fuel efficiency protection. Protection, repellent, fire protection 3. Because what you can do with vanilla stuff is I could always make more rupee leggings, helmets, and chest pieces, and then combine them to get the best enchants. And I think that's what I'll do. So let's take the fire protection 3. Okay. And that only gave me fire protection 3. And you know what? I'll take the silk touch. I might optimize this a bit off screen. But what I can do is I can essentially enchant multiple sets of rupee armor and then combine them to combine all of the enchantments together to make one decent set. It's an old school trick, but it checks out. So let's go ahead and put all this in here. Sort it. Okay, let's put the armor back on for now. We're a little bit glowy. We're a little bit shiny. Oh, and let's put the bottles of enchanting back in here as well. Okay, let's begin on Blood Alchemy real fast. We've got some time left. So, Blood Alchemy. What is it? How do you get started? Well, it's a magic mod that deals in deriving power from blood and the souls of your enemies, which are not described as either of those things in the mod. The mod describes it as life essence and demonic will, with life essence meaning blood and demonic will meaning the souls of your enemies. But how do we get started? Well, first we need some demonic will. How do we get demonic will? Well, you craft some rudimentary snares. You throw it at a monster and then kill it to obtain demonic will. Some packs will require you to do other things. They might disable the snares and they'll have you obtain demonic will in other ways. This appears to be completely vanilla progression. So what we do is we use some strings, some iron, and some redstone to make some snares. We're going to go make some snares. Then we're going to need, by the way, we're going to need a Hellfire Forge, which is pretty cheap. We ignore this recipe because that's dumb. Instead, we just need 1 block of iron, 4 stone. Okay, let's go ahead and work on that actually, because we're going to need that in a second. It's going to need 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 block of iron, 4 stone. So one block of iron, 2 iron, and then a gold. Do we have any in here? Yeah, we have some. We live in a very Darwinian Minecraft server. If you can't do like 3-point jumps, then you're not allowed to craft anything. Like, you just die of starvation if you can't jump. Okay, you can ignore one of those recipes. Yeah, no kidding. Hellfire Forge, made. Okay, and we're also going to need, I don't think we're going to need any of these, but show me what we need to make our first baby crystal. The Petty Tartaric Gem. What is needed for that? Glass, blue dye, gold, and redstone. Okay. We'll make, I guess, maybe 8 is what we'll do. We'll make 8 Petty Tartaric Gems to start with, and that hopefully will be enough. For blue dye, we will simply use lapis because we have tons of it. I will explain what these are in a moment. What the Tartaric Gems are and why any of this matters. We need, for the redstone, we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're also going to need 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then set that aside for a moment. And we're going to need, what is it, 12 string, was it? Yeah, it's going to need to be 12 string. Come on. Where on earth did all of our string go? We had tons of it. I don't want to have to set up the shredder again. Oh, it's all in the feather box, isn't it? It's in here. Yeah, it's in here. I'm just screwing this up. 1, 2, 3, 4. There, we'll just do it that way. I was trying to be clever and split it correctly in like a smart manner, but that wasn't working. I'm not smart. That was the problem. Local man tried to be smart, failed. Okay. I think that should be enough to make the snares. So we just do this, 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 then we do this, 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 this. We make 16 snares. Okay. Now then, you may be wondering, what is this? Like, what are we doing? So, we need a creature's soul. How do we get it? The snare is how you get it. What we do, it's actually night, so that's convenient. That we actually want it to be night right now. What we will do, so first of all, let's set up the Hellfire Forge. I don't know, right here, just because we can. By the way, when you do things in the Hellfire Forge, this recipe is exact. The redstone has to go in this slot. Right? The gold ingots have to go in this slot. Right? This is precise. Any block of glass has to go in here, and then we will use some of the lapis. To go in here. If you do it any other way, it'll either not work, or worst case, it can. I've been told in older versions of Blood Alchemy, if you messed up a recipe, it could cause bad things to happen. I've never messed up a recipe, and I don't think that's true anymore. But just for the sake of it, maybe don't do that. Like, just be careful with that. Play it smart, or don't and blow up your base. I'm not your dad. Anyway, let's go find some unsuspecting suckers. Why are we so? Have I been hurt so badly that I can't even regenerate all of my health? That's another thing I was disappointed in. I was hoping that dude would drop, that giant monster guy would drop yellow hearts, because yellow hearts are the next heart container tier to add even more hearts to our thing. He didn't appear to drop any, which is kind of frustrating, because I was hoping we would be able to expand our arsenal, right? I was hoping we would be able to add more hearts to our total by farming that boss. He doesn't appear to drop the divine shards or the quote-unquote heart containers that only drop from bosses, the yellow ones. So I don't see much purpose in farming him. I was hoping that he would drop cool stuff for us, but he looks like kind of a nothing burger guy. Looks like the only thing he really does is drop the sentient meatballs, but I don't even think those are used for anything we can do right now, so it doesn't really matter. That's a mimic crab. That's our first victim right there. Okay, so how this works is you snare him. See those bubbles? That means he's affected by the negative status effect. We kill him, and he should have... Did he not drop it? Okay. The snares aren't quite reliable. That's why you make them in large amounts. They craft up in a group of 4. They're not completely reliable. Let's try this zombie. We're looking for something that looks like a little puff of a cloud. It almost looks like, you know what souls look like in Dragon Ball Z, where they're like a little puff of a cloud? Like that. That's what we're looking for. Still nothing. Whoa. There's one. That's it. Wow, do scarecrows pop out of ravens if you kill them? That's a little spooky. Anyway, we got demonic will. You see this? Quality. 2.29. Okay. That's important. Okay. What that governs is how much it's worth. Okay. And we don't want crappy ones, but right now we can't really... We have no control over that. We can't govern that. So we're going to use the rest of our snares, I think. We're going to keep going. I kind of don't want these Jack-o'-mans to go away. They've been hanging around. These dudes sell some crazy stuff. They're not hostile, they're a merchant, but the currency they have, they want like spider eyes and pumpkins and eyes of ender. But like what they're selling is they sell a really crazy war scythe. Like, let me show you. This thing. It does 6 ranged damage. It has infinite ammo and infinite uses. 60 Eyes of Ender, 6 Wither Skeleton Skulls. And the Wither set, or they offer something. I don't know where it is, but they have a thing for sale that triples the damage that all scythes deal. And I'm like, wow. So if you could get the armor set and the scythe, like, you'd be set, right? It would be a pretty big flex. I don't think he dropped a will. He didn't. You're trying to see the bubbles appear around them, the floaty bubbles, because that means they've been affected by, like, the... I don't remember what it's called, but it's like the Soul Reeve status effect, which makes it so they'll drop a... what are you? Are you wearing a parka? A miner. Wait a minute. What are you? You're unique. You're also dead. Okay, fair enough. I don't know what his deal is, but we gotta keep all of the people with YouTube golds away from him. That's all I know. But so, are the Shoggoths still mad? Yeah, they're still mad. Shoggoths are down there. Did you see that block break? They're down there. They're definitely down there. I do have this chunk loaded, don't I? Yeah, I do. How are they still down there? I would have thought they would have... I don't know. I would have thought they would have... Oh, you can see him down there. You can see him poking through the wall because his his thing is so big, he's sticking through it. That's a Shoggoth. I was hoping that if I left them here, because I think I explained this once, but they have a thing inside that's like called a biomass. It's essentially a spawner, but it has a finite amount of Shoggoths it can spawn. Ideally, I was hoping I would run the clock out on that, and it would spawn if I kept it chunk loaded, but it appears as though that's not happening. That's a little bit disconcerting, honestly. That dude is still frozen. That's got to be some kind of graphical glitch that he's still frozen. He's still got that texture. Got any Sasquatches or anything around here we can throw some things at? There's a charger. You're exactly what I'm looking for. Come here. Come on. Give me the bubbles. Ooh, you're not going to give me the bubbles. Wow. That's rude. Let's try this goblin. Let's see if he can do it. No. I knew he didn't give me any because the bubbles didn't appear. Man, that's rude. Okay. But we did get some demonic will, and that's the important part. We got a little bit. Now, how much do we need to make a petty Tartaric gem? A minimum of 1. Okay. I'll show you what the petty Tartaric gem is. It's important to know what it is. I'll show you. We're going to need to make more snares, I think. So the petty Tartaric gem is essentially the Tartaric gems in general, because you upgrade through them. The petty one is the smallest. They're like a battery for demonic will. Instead of it taking up storage space in your inventory, it just goes into the Tartaric gem and charges it. Right? That's the idea. Let's go ahead and drop all this crap off. So, if we do this, and if we put in this one, because this is the only one that's going to be able to do it. See how this is 0.16? It needs, if we look at the petty gem, it needs a minimum of 1 will to start the transaction, and it will drain 1 will. Okay? So that means this one won't do anything if I put it in here. Does nothing, because it needs a minimum of 1. That's 0.16. This one will do it. going to go up, and when it's fully charged, boop, we now have a Petty Tartaric Gem. Just like that. And what do we need for a sentient sword? By the way, one of the reasons I want the sentient sword, it can be super enchanted. So the way the sentient tools and weapons work, like the sentient sword, the sentient bow, the axe, the pickaxe, the shovel, etc., they suck. They're terrible. Okay? But the more demonic will you have in your inventory, the better they get. They start out really bad. They get real good. And because it can be super enchanted, that means like we can really crank this. I think because this pack advertises on CurseForge on the page that says, "Hey, play our pack. We're cool." It says that there's a way to break the enchantment limits and just get like stuff with sharpness 30, right? Stuff like that. I think that's what the super enchanted stuff is. You can super enchant it. The ability to super enchant a sentient sword is really good. Now you may ask, well, is it just a really strong sword? Well, no. There's another reason I want one, and it's because it does the same thing the snare does, but we don't have to snare people anymore. If you kill things with a sentient weapon or a sentient tool, like if we kill a zombie with a sentient pick, or if we shoot a skeleton with a sentient bow, they drop demonic will, right? So the snares are to get you started. What you want is one of these. You want a sentient weapon, okay? So to make it, we're going to need a Petty Tartaric Gem and an iron sword, and the transaction is free. So let's actually we can afford to do it. Let's make one more Petty Tartaric Gem. Yep. Okay. And then we won't be able to make any more. So these are our only two that we get for now, but that's okay. Glass, lapis. I have more experience with Blood Alchemy than I do with some other mods. So I actually know what I'm doing. Mostly, I know what I'm doing. But let's go and get a stick and 2 iron. It's quite nice that this transaction costs nothing. Like this transaction is free. Do we have any spare sticks in our inventory? We don't. Although I guess I could use the mossy sticks. You know what? Mossy sticks, because the mossy sticks can be used for any stick related thing. Yeah, let's make it out of the mossy stick, because why not? Why not? Mossy stick. Yep. There we go. Iron sword. And then that has to be done on the demon anvil. It can't be done in a regular crafting table. So we do one of these. Petty Tartaric Gem. Iron sword. I'm sorry, excuse me. Petty Tartaric Gem. Iron sword. What's the problem here? Oh, by the way, you can. This is one of those super crafting things. You can take a stasis blade, which I'm not entirely sure how to make these, but if you put it on an LP altar, it'll make a named sentient sword called Soul Eater. Sharpness L, Unbreaking V, Mending. Sharpness L, ladies and gentlemen. That's a Roman numeral so high, I'm not even sure what that does. What is L? Is that... It's not 20, because that would be XX, right? Is L 50? Is that sharpness 50? I'm not even sure. I don't even know. Where... It can't possibly want this recipe, right? Because that's dumb. It says this works. Petty Tartaric Gem, Iron Sword. Oh, do we have to have something in here regardless? It just doesn't cost anything, but we have to have one in just to start it. And there we go. We now have a sentient sword, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go use it. Let me show you how this works. So you see how it has nothing in it? Raw will 0.00. Watch this. We throw these two demonic wills out into the world. Let me pick them up. Check it. Petty Tartaric Gem, will quality 0.46. So that will went into that crystal. So now that will is stored there. And that's what the Tartaric Gems do, is they store will. And we fill them up, and then we use the will to perform transactions on that that anvil, is what we do. So we've got a little bit of time left. We've got 15-20 minutes left before I'm going to have to cut this. Let's go cause some trouble. Let's go smack some people with our cool new sword. And let's see what we can do. Look at these nerds. Look at these nerds. Come here. Ooh, 3.46. See, we got demonic will. This is really convenient in how it works. It actually teleports the demonic will straight into your Tartaric Gem. The stuff doesn't even like drop in the world. It does, but it immediately goes into the gem. And also looting does affect the amount you get. So you really want a sentient sword with looting, because it will increase the amount of will you get by a pretty... Whoa! Oh, he also uses magic. That's why. I really need... We're definitely doing that off screen, I think. Off screen, I'm going to make several sets of rupee armor, and we're going to sit there... I'm going to sit there for like 20 or 30 minutes, and we're going to roll through the enchantments and see if I can get some magic protection, fire protection gear, because that's frustrating. That is genuinely frustrating that keeps happening. That thing had 1 health. I almost had it. Was a little disappointed that the guns weren't quite as strong as I was hoping they would be, but that's okay. I wasn't expecting them to be super game-breaking. It would have been funny if they were, though. It would have been real funny if they were, actually. I said this already, I hate how the cyclic thing automatically... So you can put the cyclic stuff in any of your slots, which is nice. They can fit anywhere, but it always tries to prioritize the necklace slot, which forces my heart amulet out. It's frustrating enough that it kind of tempts me to not use the cyclic stuff at all. Oh, and I forgot to mention, thermal expansion has these things called flux capacitors. No, they don't let you travel through time. But what it does is it stores redstone flux and can be used to recharge equipment and items. I made a reinforced one, and then used it to store all of the energy I had in that battery, because I wasn't sure if breaking and moving the battery would actually cause it to lose what's inside of it. Some tech mods, the batteries that they add are quite generous. They're quite nice, and the stuff like that doesn't happen, and the batteries remember. Right? They remember what's been put in them, and you can move them around. Others are not so nice, and if you break them, like it's gone, right? Like whatever was in it is lost. So I wasn't sure what rules the batteries in this pack abide by. I wasn't even sure if some of them abide by different rules. They probably do. So I didn't really mean to do that, but okay. You can tell by the way that this sword sucks because we have to hit things with it so many times. But the more raw will we have in our inventory, the stronger it's going to get. And you can upgrade the gems to hold more, and that's what also makes your stuff stronger because your gear will naturally plateau. Because having multiple gems full doesn't really count. It's the highest amount of will you have, I think, in a single gem is the way that works. So what you want to do is you want to upgrade your gems to hold more and more, because pushing that threshold up is what allows you to... What are you carrying? Corruption shard? I'll take that. Thank you. This is the only time in this game I've been able to wander around at night and not be jumped. I'm out here actively looking for trouble, and it's just free shrugs for everybody. It's just, I don't know, shrug. You wanted trouble? There's no trouble here, guy. Come here, you're a... Here we go, that'll do. So many ravens, so many scarecrows. We should go pick a fight in the Nether. Those are famous last words. Knowing my luck, I'll die. Where are we at? 14. It normally takes approximately, very nearly, a full Tartaric gem. Oh, it's a demonic pig. That's why it's screaming. I was wondering for a second what was going on. I forget that that those can spawn in the overworld too. When they're in the Nether, their disguise is broken by default, and you can see that they're like some kind of monster that's just pretending to... I swear. And you can see that there's some kind of monster that's pretending to be an animal. We'll just use this one. Screw it. No longer care about being neat anymore. I'm tired of dying to random magic spells and then having my inventory get scrambled up. There is a setting, I might look to change it in the configs for, I think, Coriel Tombstone. I think there's a setting you can alter that makes it so that the scramble doesn't happen. I might have to change that in the configurations. In fact, can we change it? Let's see. Coriel Tombstone. Configs. Player death. Allow to fill existing grave. Tomb rating. Marble grave recovery cave time. Graves griefing rules. Handle player death. True. Player XP. Knowledge loss. 0. Grave. None. No. Graveless areas. Percent loss on death. Interesting. I thought there was a way. You can config this, by the way, if you want to make it so there's a chance that items will randomly be deleted from characters when they die. It's set to 0 by default though, which I appreciate. I don't think I've ever played a pack that had Coral Tombstone in it where that feature was used. Is there no shape duration, key on death, player death, knowledge loss, none. There's event stuff that happens during Halloween. You can permanently turn Halloween on if you want. I guess, I'm not going to mess with any of these. I thought for sure there was a config that could be changed that would essentially make it so it doesn't scramble your inventory on death, but maybe I'm wrong. I guess I'm misremembering. I'm not trying to swipe creepers with this thing. That's a bad idea. There we go, 24. We're getting there. I believe a petty holds 64. Ooh, that's a witch. No, that's a wizard. Not entirely sure what happened behind me, but I think he died. The recoil died, and then I died at the exact same time. I think we took each other out. That's pretty funny. Let me go get my recovery. Let's see after I get my recovery how much it's going to take to go from a petty to, I think it's a small. It's either a small or a lesser Tartaric gem. Once again, every time I die, I lose the necklace. I swear, the cyclic stuff is more trouble than it's worth. It really is. Although I think, didn't we find out that you can wear the cyclic stuff in your inventory? It doesn't even have to be in your bauble slots. Maybe that's the ticket, is to not even put them in there. Although that still may not work, because it may try and auto-equip them to your bauble slots. I don't know. Let's see, we're at what? 43. To make a lesser, we're going to need a minimum of 60. It costs 20, but we need 60 in the tank to be able to start that transaction. So let's try and do that before we stop for the stream. Let's see if we can make it to 60. There's probably enough stuff knocking loose that we can. I'm feeling lucky. just going to put the cyclic glove away. I'm getting sick and tired of that. That's frustrating is what that is. It's frustrating and I don't like it. Being able to climb walls is nice, but I'm not messing with you guys after the trouble you gave me in the Nether. I'm just going to shoot you. I'll find softer targets to get the souls of. Ooh, you know what would be a good place to do this is... Where are we at? Let's go over here. Let's head over to the area where I know there's going to be, like, the manticores, because the manticores are slow. Normally in Blood Alchemy, it's a real struggle to try and get a one of these with mending on them. You really want a sword with mending, Ascension sword with mending, because that way it you don't have to worry about it breaking and having to go to the trouble of making another Tartaric gem to make another sword. In vanilla, it's cheap because the petty Tartaric gems aren't that expensive, but in a lot of the larger like adventure mod packs, right, like the progression packs and stuff. By the way, this is the thing. I'll show you in just a second. You need exotic materials to make. That's a very common trick, is they'll make it so you need exotic materials to make your petty Tartaric gems. So you desperately want to preserve your sentient swords for as long as you can hold on to them. So getting one, the ideal is sharpness for damage, looting for more will, and then mending so it repairs itself with XP. But if you find one of these structures and you push this button, Deep Trader. This is the dude who does digital organic currency, and he'll give you Eden dust for it. Compressed cobblestone in the overworld? What? Yeah, this is how you do it, is you find these things. I thought this was a gigantic booby trap when I first saw it. It's a giant brick of compressed cobblestone and bedrock in the overworld that with a single button. And I was like, man, that's a trap. That's bait, is what that is. But it's not. That's how you summon that guy. And he's the one who will take the digital organic currency. There should be, like, manticores roaming around in this area, I think. Or at least some things like that. Some relatively slow creatures. Ooh, hammerhead. Nice, 54. So, I do want to remind, I think I've got this correct. I'm giving advice now, but I might be giving bad advice. From my understanding, the sentient sword works literally exactly the same way the snares do, which means if you hit something with it, you're proccing them with a status effect that makes them drop demonic will when they die. So you can just swipe them, I think, and then hang on. We have 54.81. Let me test that. If I swipe him with the sword, then kill him with the wand. 54.76. It did go up. We didn't get a lot of will from him, but it did drop, and that's the important thing. So I'm correct. If he's affected by that, then they can drop will. Man, I came here looking for manticores. All I'm seeing is the rammer heads. I'm not seeing... There's a manticore. I wanted manticores because they're slow. That's 60. Okay. Okay, we're almost capped out. I think I'll kill like one more thing, and then we'll head back and make our next tier. And then I'll probably stop for now. I've got some stuff I need to do on the back end of this. I've got to do some crafting. I definitely want to try and get a better like set of armor. Gotta get that enchanting done, but I'll have to. What you can do is you can craft in. It's a vanilla trick. Oh, see, there we go. Yeah, 64.00. Right, we're right at the edge. So we're full now. That gem is done. And I believe if you watch, if we kill him and we don't have room in the gem, it'll drop it in the world, and I guess it just gets deleted. We don't pick it up, but that's fine. One of the things I'm thinking of, by the way, is since the pack sort of seems to be trying to push us towards fighting dragons pretty soon, I don't know what these are used for, by the way, the Crimson Warfare altars. I think this is Thumbcraft stuff. I think that's the plugin. Maybe we put the book that we found on that altar. I don't know. But what I'm thinking is I might make a sentient bow, and that might give us a ranged option that can hit in a decent weight class that isn't the wand. Although, to be fair, I still think the wand might be our best option for fighting a fire dragon. I don't think it's going to do anything against an ice dragon, but for fire dragons, I think the wand might just be, you know, goated, for lack of a better term. I'll just go full zoomer. It might be goated with the sauce and quirked up, because it's dealing ice damage. I believe ice dragons are weak against fire and fire dragons are weak against ice. I'm very sure that's a thing. So here's what we're going to do. I think we are actually going to need to make one more. Yeah, we're going to need to make one more Petty Tartaric gem. Because we need one to upgrade, right? So we're going to go redstone, gold. Then it's glass and then blue dye. And that'll take us from 64 to 63. Yeah. Okay. Then what we're going to do is, to make a lesser, we need a diamond, a block of redstone, and a block of lapis. Well, we've got that in spades. Let's go get the redstone real fast. In fact, you can actually see our sword has gotten better just in the short amount of time we've had it. It started out as what? 1 attack damage. It's escalated to 7.5 because we have a 63 demonic will in our inventory. You see that? You see the difference? The attack speed remains the same, or no, it's actually increased as well, I guess. Interesting. But the 63 will, it's enough to escalate our attack that much. So you can see how the sentient weapons will slowly get out of control. I mean, what does our steel broadsword do? Our steel broadsword has an attack of 8. This sentient sword is already almost as good as that Tinker's broadsword that's made out of steel with redstone rubbed on it and a bunch of other things. This thing is just some iron and some magic. Like, it's just... Oh, that's right. I took my... I'm so used to being able to climb. I forgot I was going on strike for climbing. It is gem, diamond, redstone, lapis. So gem, diamond, redstone, lapis. I've got that arrangement set up correctly. Okay, good. There's a lot more to blood magic than this, as you can probably guess by the fact that it's called blood magic and we aren't even using blood yet. Like, this is real basic. So there's essentially 2 aspects to there's several aspects to it. Blood alchemy, blood magic, alchemical wizardry is, on the one hand, there's like ancient Aztec blood sacrifice type magic where we can either self-sacrifice our own blood or sacrifice the blood of others to create life points, which it's blood, but they call it life points, but it's blood. And that can be used to do magic. Blood is a fuel to power magical spells. We might not be, we're not the bad guys, but I'm not sure we're the good guys. I'll say that. And that's what this blood altar is for. And we'll be making, I can't make this yet because it needs pure fluix crystals for the same reason I couldn't get black marble for astral sorcery. I can't make the blood altar yet because we need pure fluix crystals, but once I gain the ability to get those, we can start in on the ancient Aztec blood magic. There's the soul magic, which is what we're getting started with the Hellfire Forge, the Demon Crucible, the Demon Pylon, and the Demon Crystallizer, none of which we've made yet, just the Hellforge for now. And then there's like this stuff with the runes and the divination sigils, which is a way to cast magic. It ties into the blood altar because it uses life essence as fuel. But the best way I can think of to describe it is it's essentially Full Metal Alchemist magic, right? You clap your hands and then slap the ground and you draw circles with chalk and you make things happen. That's essentially what that is. So there's several aspects to this that are quite good. And there we have the Lesser Tartaric Gem, which if you check here, you can see we go from being able to hold 64 to 256. Right, and it increases. It keeps doubling. The common or quadrupling, excuse me. The common Tartaric Gem holds 1,024. The Greater holds 4,096, and the Grand holds 16,384. Now, if we wanted to escalate this one more tier, what would we need? Okay, we can't do it because we would need an imbued slate. The diamond and the block of gold we could manage. The imbued slate is from the blood altar. What the slates are is you make them on the blood altar. You take stone and you put it on the blood altar to create a blank slate, and then for each tier of the altar that you upgrade, you can go from blank to reinforced, then you can go from reinforced to imbued, so we'd need at least a tier 3 blood altar for that. Then you go from imbued to demonic, then you go from demonic to ethereal, and I think that's the last one. Yeah, it is. Make sure you are using the right one in the recipes. Name is broken. Inert blood diamond. Okay. Anyway. Oh, and one more trick you can do with this, just so you know, is you can move will from one crystal to another by holding it in your hand and clicking it. So we can do this, and it'll push the will out of that crystal into other crystals in your inventory, and that way we can put all of the will we had in this Petty Tartaric Gem, we can store it in the Lesser now. So we're starting to fill up the Lesser Tartaric Gem. And I think I'll show you one final thing before we stop, just because I think it's cool. And let me go ahead and actually put these in here. We're going to need more Tartaric Gems where we're going, so I'm going to go ahead and put these in here. Actually, let me check. We can make the bow, can't we? Because I think it's going to take it'll take a lesser. It will consume a lesser Tartaric Gem to make, but we can make the sentient bow. Okay, and I think we're going to, because that's a pretty decent ranged weapon. It doesn't take much in the way of enchantments, or wait, no, it does, because there's tons of things added on. Never mind, I only saw punch, flame, and mending, but multi-shot, unbreaking, quick draw, yeah, we can put some good things on it. Let me show you. What was I going to show you? I was going to show you one more thing before we stopped. Come on now, don't lose your train of thought like that. What was I going to show before I stopped? Oh no. Memories slipping through my fingers like sand through the hourglass. How will I live? Yeah, it's fine. Oh right, I remember what I was going to show you. So I haven't showed this off yet, but I think it's a really cool little trick. It's a cool little feature to have. Check this out. So there is a bucket that was added. What adds this? Random things. There's a bucket added by Random Things that has a pretty cool feature in my personal opinion. And we will use it to go collect some more lava, because I'm going to repair my tools once we end the stream. I'm going to repair the tools, and that'll be it. So let's go down to Goblin Town. Yo-ho, my lad. Remove that death and turn the waypoints back on. Shadowlands Mine, bottom. Actually, you know what? Just turn them off. It's so ugly seeing them all like that. One of the, I don't know if I'll do it on screen or if I'll do it off screen between this stream and the next one. I'm going to go down that list and check all the places that I bookmarked and be like, okay, what was here that I bookmarked that I thought was important and is it worth leaving up? I'm going to go clean up all the bookmarks, I think. Because it's just, it's not that noticeable in some ways, but at certain angles when you're like looking, it feels like you're looking down the barrel of a gun. Like, it's just terrible. Okay. So, there used to be a lot of lava down here. There's not anymore. So, let me show you. Okay. Yeah, we'll leave that for there. Let me go further in here so I don't get jumped from behind. I went further in there and got jumped from the from where I was going. That's very poetic. Okay. The Ender Bucket is made from 2 iron ingots and an Ender Pearl. An Ender Bucket works mostly like a normal iron bucket. However, when you right-click a non-source block, it will try to find the closest connected source block and pick that up instead of doing nothing. Which means you could click on the flow of lava, and the bucket is smart, and it will trace the flow back and try and pick up the nearest source block instead of just not doing anything. And then the reinforced Ender Bucket is made from an Ender Bucket with 2 obsidian and a stable Ender Pearl, which is an Ender Pearl surrounded by 4 lapis and 4 obsidian. And the reinforced Ender Bucket, a reinforced Ender Bucket works like an Ender Bucket, but it can hold 10 buckets of fluid instead of just 1. Also, when you hold shift while picking up fluids, it won't stop after it finds 1 source block, but will keep going until it is either full or there's no fluid left. So watch this. Shift. Pick it up. Boom. Check that out. Oh, we're not done. Boom. I'm moving 10 buckets of lava at a time, completely safely. Isn't that neat? I think that's pretty handy. That's kind of cool. Check that out. And there's actually nothing left. All this lava is just fake. It's gone. There's no source blocks. I'll go ahead and take one final tenor of the lava. Go ahead and take that and slash home. I had this pump running, but for some reason it wasn't being agreeable, so I have disassembled it, and instead we're just doing this, where I just do this. And then, of course, instead of needing mending for our sentient sword, because cyclic is in, we can just do that. It's going to take a bit of lava to fix it, but we can fix it. See, and now it's at full health again. Ta-da! I can do the same thing with my armor, even though my armor is enchanted. Super easy. It's free real estate, and whatever other memes you want to apply. Technically, I suppose this is a rather expensive transaction, using this much lava to repair things, but it is pretty free, though. It's kind of free, to be honest. Plus, especially once we get deeper into Blood Alchemy, we will gain the ability to create lava out of almost nothing, and then eventually, once we automate the production of blood, which is a fun process, we will actually just be making lava for free. We'll just be making infinite lava. So anyway, I think that's going to cut it for now. We've made ourselves a nice new magical toy to play with. which is somewhat depreciated, the steel broadsword, which I might go ahead and put in the box for now. There may end up being new substances and materials later in Tinkers that'll have me pulling this out. Oh wait, there's one more thing we want to do before I shut off. I saved these. These are grab bags. I wanted to open these while we could all share in the joy of whatever's in them. Where is my bag of stuff? Yeah, here we go. Now, I'm not a moron. I'm not. So we're actually going to do this. Not the redwood tree house, because that's the old thing in the redwood trees, but way over redwood top. So right now we're on top of one of those giant Natura redwoods that spawns from like the 25-25 cube of things. Thumbcraft, when you get into it, it's recommended. I've never gotten far into Thumbcraft. A lot of the packs I played didn't have it. There was a period of time where it was super popular and it was in every pack. Then like it kind of fell off because a lot of its stuff went out of date and people stopped putting it in packs because it just wasn't compatible. These days there have been some compatibility updates and now